Alpha. Hey, Dennis, can you hear me down there in Fresno?
I can hear you in Fresno, over. Was that Jeff? Was that three-wheeler? He's probably hearing everything up there.
Hello, Dennis, OTR net control. Can you hear me down there in Fresno 226?
I can hear you, 226. I can hear you, 226, over. All right, I'll get him checked in. He can't hear me, but we can hear him.
Yeah, he sounds good here.
Yeah, he's up at like 3,000 feet, probably.
Let's try. How about it, Dennis, OTR?
I hear you at 3,000 feet, over.
226, 226, Mount Billion.
All right, 226, 226, 226, checked in, over.
I got it that time, Dennis. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, it's nice having that 3,000-foot antenna. Let me get the paperwork here, and we'll see who else we can check in. Yeah, 195, 195. Can you hear me, over?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll get you checked in now, just in case. Just in case, over.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate you.
All right, let's play the official thing here.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
RADIO, the Old Tube Radio Network. The sun is doing its thing. It was fairly quiet, and as usual, about an hour before the net, all stations from everywhere all come on simultaneously and at the same time. Not a bad thing, I suppose, if you are into propagation. However, if you are trying to do the Old Tube Radio Network, that could be a whole different story. Anyway, Dennis here in the air chair of the Old Tube Radio Network. Just ran in from all the activities going on outside, so my tie is probably not straight, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that we get as many radios checked in tonight. Say hello to the shortwave listeners, and a good time will be had by most. The Old Tube Radio Network, streaming at oldtuberadio.net on your Universal Media Net web. There's a YouTube link for video and all the radio pictures coming up, and we are live and direct at 27085 Channel 11. On the air since the mid-1980s, thanks to you and your radios. We'll see how many we can get tonight. There are stations joining us from afar, and we will try and say hello radio to you when we can. So don't go away. I think ORN is having a good time on the skip tonight, and I know they have the Wheel of Fortune going, so there will probably be some good things. All right, without any further ado, what I'm going to do is just listen. For anybody that would like to get checked in that can hear me at the moment, we've already got a couple. We've got SWL 226, SWL 195. Are there any others that would like to get checked in through the skip here? Over. And Now, I always wonder if the skip will go away as quickly as it came in. 00. Let me check in while we're here on page 1, 00. And that is Craig. I think he is out there on the video stream. I will check in and see who's out there. Yes, Craig is checking in. And so I've got you, Craig. Let me get the 00 number going on and make sure I've got the right video screen, which I do. We will also get SWL number 1, the Cosmic Check-In, and SWL number 2. Mr. OBP is out, and he has predicted exactly the cacophony and calamity that is going on right now, thanks to the solar numbers and things happening or not happening with the sun. Some controversy over whether this cycle 25 is going to fizzle out, whether it's going to be very strong, in fact, too strong with some solar activity that will shut things down. It'll just have to wait and see. So thank you, OBP. Anybody want to say hello to Kevin? You can check in on the video chat and say hello, radio. SWL number 3. I've got a proxy check in for Rob. And there were rumors that that Rob was on local TV doing some promotional items for ham radio. I didn't get to see that, but if so, good going, Rob.
Back out.
Let's go to SWL number 5, Levon. And I believe Mr. Rainmaker had an appearance over at Old Radio Night from the Hudson Valley of New York, and no doubt will be switching over here as well. Let's go to probably the only station right now that can actually hear me. At least I hope you can. SWL 7.
No problem. You're definitely doing 20 over here at my location.
All right, 20 over is a good thing. Seems like the big guns sort of quieted down a little bit, but the skip is still in there. Thanks for checking in. That takes us up to, where did we go? SWL 10. Hello, Chrissy. Good to have you back on the channel, on the network here. I've got to get you and Dwayne checked in. I always know. I look for the jumping dolphins, and you can't be too far away. SWL 11 and SWL 12. Mr. Cornbread and Dapper Dan, both standing by, in line, or actually not quite in line, kind of out of line, but ready to be checked in. Dan, we will say, I believe we will be saying Fresno a couple of times this evening, so take notes on that. And Dapper Dan, let me see. I've got the pocket protector, I've got the tie, but I'm still lacking something to be quite as dapper as number 12. We've got you both.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
Good evening, Dennis. I'd like to check in early. You got the legend, 53.
All right, 53, a legend
86 GFD,
for sure.
W6
So
KEG.
I will get you checked in, Bob, over.
Good job. Catch you later.
Hello, radio, from the crossband. Take a transmission, KB6 GFD. Got a crossband checked in
there.
there.
Thanks a lot, man. We just got in from the coast and don't have things set up for the other frequently. So anyway, appreciate a check-in, thinking about you. Hope you had a good 4th of July, and I'll keep it short, 25 and 74. Back to you, W6KEG with KT6GFD.
All right, sounding good, sir. I hope you had a great time. I know you did. You are being welcomed back to some very cool weather considering what we had last week. So about 15 degrees cooler. Still is warm compared to the coast. You guys are looking good on the band venues, so congratulations on that, and thanks for stopping by. 25 and 74 are checked in. Thanks, KB6GFD.
How about the Joker?
All right, from the crossband, SWL 25 and 74. And we'll pick up, one more. We'll pick up one more for the remote. All right, you may be hitting the audio a bit hard, but I hear you take a transmission, Aaron, KB6GFD. All right, from the crossband.
Microphone down a little bit. I'm currently using my iPhone for my
master's house to remote into my rig. So SWL 52, checking in from the remote.
All right, you have been remoted quite nicely, and the check-in is the X in the square on the Saturday night place to be OTR from the golden iPhone. I don't know. Thanks for stopping by. KB6GFD.
Thank you, sir. K6USY remote.
Okay, now there's a remote on the remote, over-the-air remote. So that's like a third-generation check-in there for SWL 52. Aaron, let me go back to the big board here. The old Tube Radio Network. Dennis in the air chair tonight. One of the many, many net controllers that has been checking in people for all these many years. Let's go over to SWL 13 and see if Mr. Cobra is right there on my screen. He says it sounds totally tubular. Now, I will, Mike, I will admit that last check-in did sound a bit tubular from Aaron. Thanks for stopping by as always, and we've got you checked in. All right, we're going to see if we can slip in Sangertown between the skip here. Hello, Sanger, SWL 14.
Oh, yeah, man. What you been calling me for, kind of, baby? I've been right here. Hey, man.
Hello, Sangertown 14. Okay, probably not making it through the skip. I will give Sean a proxy check-in, but no doubt he will stop. I do believe I heard him last night on the Ditch Banks side and doing good. Let's see. Let me quickly just say who's in the building. I see Mariposa peeking in. Is that you, Jeff? We did get you checked in, as you know, up in the balcony from New York, Queensbury, New York. Hello to you, the unknown SWL, of course. I see Copenhagen. Hans should be around somewhere. Yes, he is. Listening in early this morning. What is going on? Let me see if they will give me some reports for that. No reviews. All right. Well, anyway, you're looking good. Thanks for stopping by. As always, Newcastle, Virginia, hello to you. Springfield, Massachusetts, looking good. Hello, Kerman, Fresno. A couple of Fresno stations. Edmonton, Alberta. Know who that is. Plymouth, Minnesota. Belfast, Maine, coming right up to you. Looking good on the cue cards. And that is the way it is on OTR. We are looking for and checking in SWL 16 from Anoka, Minnesota. Charlie is in tonight. And what are they doing? Oh, I was just going to ask you if you have my iced tea.
Hey, Dennis, can you hear me now? It's 24.
Hey, I can hear you, Joseph. Over.
Copy. For some reason, I was getting no audio out of the radio, so I had to switch to a different one.
Okay, no, you got plenty of audio on this radio. I will get you checked in 2-4 over. All right, well, I got plenty of audio, and now I've got my. Let me put it here. Maybe I will. I promise. I have to promise not to spill it, so we don't have to call the cleanup crew. Who is that? Joseph checked in 2416. Checked in. Thank you, Charlie. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18. Mikey checked in off of Facebook. SWL 19. On the cue cards tonight, as always. Hello, Chet from it's Derby, New York. But somehow, and the ISPs don't always tell you true, even though it says Belfast, Maine. But that's okay. I bet that's a great. I've never been to either place, but I bet that's a great place to be. Looking good. I can see they give you a new magic marker because the letters are big and bold tonight. So if I mess up, it is not your fault. Let's go to SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Please check in 29 and 54. And I will have a radio of interest tonight.
You gotta worry about
Okay, we will have a net of interest for your radio of interest. Stations watching can see we are not quite in the gray line yet tonight. The days are getting shorter. Let me see if I can bring up the DX map quickly so we can kind of see why we are hearing what we're hearing. Look at that. We're going to check in with Old Radio Night. Look at that. I imagine they are being bombarded. All the skip is on the East Coast. It's not showing much for us, but it is certainly out there. We'll see if we get some sporadic E, but stations in the Midwest and the East are having a good time, if indeed they want to do the skip land thing. SWL 21, Mr. JT, DD21. I'm going to, let's see if I get the right item here. See if they're still... Oh, he's still on. He's got the wheel. Let me bring in some audio.
Old Tube Radio Network. See what's going on.
And there's Mr. JT. We'll bring in the video as well. Let me grab the video here. We're going to check in with Old Radio Night. Look at that. I imagine they are being bombarded. I want to go to the right screen. Here we go. So here we go. The wheel's coming up. Look at this. But it is certainly out there. We'll see if we get some. So I'll leave it up. And oh, I see. Okay, we're on the wheel. So go ahead and spin it. Go ahead and spin the wheel, and we'll take your audio. I've got to wait for the delay to come up.
Break channel.
Okay, hang on, break. We're going to spin the Old Radio Night Wheel of Misfortune, coming right up here. So here we go. So here we go. Oh, he's still on. He's got the wheel. Let me bring in some audio. And there's Mr. JT. We'll bring in the video as well. So here comes the spinning wheel. The video here. You can see it on the video. Mr. Mud Duck, Foxman 362, UDX 463, TTT's on there. Everybody's on there. All the favorite stations are on there.
Here we go. We're going to spin.
Oh, I see. Okay, we're on the wheel.
See?
So go ahead and spin it. Go ahead and spin the wheel, and we'll take your audio. I've got to wait for the delay to come up. All right,
here we go.
Okay, hang on, we're going to spin the Old Radio Night Wheel of Misfortune. Coming right up here. So here we go. PSV. Here we go, Dave. Oh, he's got the wheel. Let me bring in some audio. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means. I tuned in earlier. There's Mr. JT. We'll bring in the video as well. Here comes I tuned in earlier when he had the wheel on, and I'm not exactly sure what it means when the selected station shows up on the wheel. I hope it's something good. Who was the breaking station? Go ahead. What was that? Pinedale Control? I'm not sure. I thought it was Pinedale Control in there. Anyway, we're waiting to hear the results of the spinning wheel on Old Radio Night. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means. I tuned in earlier when he had the wheel on, and I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm thinking we need a wheel here at the Old Tube Radio Network.
Good news out here down there around Long, man. Damn, I didn't know that was you. Uncle Woodrow, I like that, man. I'm gonna see when Uncle Woodrow. Hey, how's good news?
All right, back to the roll call. But we'll check in. We'll check in with the wheel coming up.
I heard Big John Stud in there.
All right, it's good to be on the wheel. Better than not being on the wheel, I guess. The Old Tube Radio Network back live. Roll call. Mr. JT is in 21. Let's go to SWL 22. That's if we could hear Alaska, that would be great. SWL 23.
Right on that coming in.
Break channel.
Let me see if 23 is on the list of lists here coming in. Not quite yet. The break channel, go ahead.
Down there around.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, break channel, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear this radio, Dennis? This is 777. I'm checking in.
Yeah, 777, you got big signal coming through the skip tonight, 20 over in Midtown. We'll get you checked in, and thanks for stopping by here. The Saturday night place to be, the Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, thank you. I was just see if this radio was getting out because I broke my antenna off.
Oh, no, that is not a good thing. Well, it sounds like your SWRs are okay. I don't hear any bad things, and you're hearing me. So you've done a good job of repairing the item of interest.
Well, thank you.
All right, 777, rolling the dice and coming up at the Old Tube Radio Network. We've got you checked in. Thanks for stopping by. Direct net roll call. SWL24 checked in moments ago on the radio with lots of audio. SWL25 checked in moments ago on the crossband. SWL27.
Is checking in live from Studio G on the FM crossband.
And you are sounding good. I heard a little bit of, what do we call that in the radio biz? A little bit of chatter, but you are sounding good. Probably not too hot to be in Studio G for the 20 seconds or so it takes to check in, and back to you.
I got too many radios on here in the shack. Anyway, thanks, Dennis. KI6QL.
All right, thank you, Dwayne. You are sounding good. 27 is checked in, KB6GFD. And I think I just heard a hi, Dennis. That might have been 30 at the microphonium. Over.
Hey, Woody. Why you still?
You know, Mr. Bones, Ron said it was going to be a busy night tonight. And it's already, I haven't even got off of page 1, and it's definitely busy. Hello, 30. I've got you checked in. You and 10 checked in with a live check-in coming in through the skip as the conditions change. It wasn't really open that much for the West Coast, but it's probably showing up now as we go into darkness. Let's try SWL 28.
Franco, 20. How about 30?
How about 30? 30 is good. 30 with an X in the square. Over.
You were there for a minute, Dennis, but good evening.
All right, I got you, Dwayne. You were sounding good. You came way up, so the band is opening. 30 is checked in.
Thank you.
All right, and then we've got up from the hills, SWL 147, 145. Hello, Tony, 145, over. Hello, Tony, if you can hear me up in Coarse Gold.
SWL 145, check in, please.
Yeah, 145 up in Coarse Gold. I got you, Tony. We've got you checked in. 145 over.
All right, thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you for stopping by. Let's try SWL 28 again. GWD Lab says, pump up the Optimod. Is there 11? They've got the door locked here. I'm going to open the door. Maybe if I open the door. Let's open the door on the Optimod. There we go. Pump that thing up to 11. Thank you there, GWD. Gary is in saying hello, everybody. 69 degrees. What? Oh, no, it is not. It is not 69 degrees in Sacramento when it's 92 degrees here. That can't possibly be. A Delta breeze does not work that good, and if it does, I'm moving right now. He's going to have a strawberry knee-high over ice and listen to some old radios. Yeah, after you have the strawberry knee-high and you take it back, you take the bottle back for that 1 cent deposit, get some Nesbitt's lime soda to go with that, and then you will really be feeling the Delta breeze. All right, Gary, always a pleasure to have you checking in, and a good deal on the weather. No wonder people like being up there. SWL 29 with a proxy check-in. The Echo Link is up. I see Tony is listening in, so we will get Echo Link coming up. SWL 30, Dwayne, as you heard live and direct a couple of times coming through. I didn't even think that the conditions were happening over there. Let me just do one. I know we need to get through the net here, but I just want to see what's going on with the map. Let me just go back. There it is. See that little 22 and 24? That's the frequency. So yeah, it's happening right there. Oregon, Nevada, Idaho is coming up to 27 megs, and that was just quickly proven by Dwayne on the big radio. Very good. Direct internet roll call, the old Tube Radio Network. We're on page 2 if you're following along. SWL30 is checked in. How about SWL31? SWL32. And I will get to the video, see who's out there on the video side as well. I'm going to get a couple of stations checked in here on the roll call. SWL33, myself and Bozo Control, honking the proboscis, by the way, for Captain Robert, who is listening in for us and getting ready for another surgery coming up Monday. Wow. All right. So I'm glad you can get something dialed in from where you're at, and we will send what we call some positive old tube vibrations your way for a speedy recovery. And glad you are joining us tonight. Sounding good. Everybody say hello to Captain Robert if you go to the video. He's on the video side with a big check-in. SWL34, Mr. Fiedler, Jimmy, and the gang at all those, including the Old Tube Radios, the Old Tube CB Radio Network on Facebook. And I'm not sure what he is up to this week. He's a busy guy, Mr. 34. But thanks for coming in. The break OTR. Hello 61. Hello 61. Copenhagen over.
61 trying to check in, Dennis.
Yeah, hello 61. Hello 61. We've got you over.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right. They're hearing me tonight. 61 is checked in from way out there in Madeira Heights, or is it Madeira Flats? Thank you, Copenhagen. Dino sounding good on the microphonium tonight. And the band, the DX is changing. You can hear it. You can hear it on the receiver. Direct net roll call. SWL35, that guy that lives in Cool, wherever he is, it is cool because he's there. But he's definitely in Cool, Cheyenne, Wyoming, listening and looking for Mr. Bill. I'll give him a proxy check-in right now. He might be doing something there with the Red Monkey Communications, SWL36. Shortwave listener 37.
FWL37 here, Dennis. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for being patient. It is a noisy evening as it might be on a Saturday night, but you are sounding good. We've got you checked in.
All right, well, I just been out there barbecuing. Just walked in and sat down at the table, and I heard you was at 30, and so I just left it on and sitting here eating a steak and hollering at you.
Oh, man. That is a good thing to do. Holler, eat a steak. Don't holler while you're chewing. Chew a little bit, holler, and then go back to the steak. We'll see you a little bit later.
You got it.
Okay. SWL 38, that is Sam in the big town of Byron. That's Bravo, Yankee, Romeo, Oscar, November in California, here on the West Coast. Byron is not... he is typically not heard direct here in Central California, but he's crafty. He will use the auspices of the Australian and Hawaiian stations to make a relay check-in. Let's go to SWL 39. SWL 40. I can open my squelch up a little bit. See if 40 might be beaconing in somewhere. SWL 41, I do believe. Beaconing from New York, Road Dog 507. Hello, saying hello, radio from the Tri-County React, Hudson Valley, New York. And giving a big good evening to the old tube radio operators and shortwave listeners. SWL 42. Got our proxy for Crazy Eddie, SWL 43, SWL 44. I'll get a proxy in for Mr. 360, who I'm sure is hearing way more skip than he would be hearing me, SWL 45. Paul, if you're listening up there in North Fork, hello to you and Kelly, and we're getting the X in the square. I hope you are feeling good. And I think the posse, as it were, the old tube radio antenna raising posse owes you a visit, which we will do when you are feeling up to it. So put that on the calendar. SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47.
Good evening from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47.
47 sounding good. Thanks for jumping in from poolside, barbecue side, where it's just a wonderful day today, even if you were in the valley. So thanks for checking in.
As always, my pleasure, 73.
The Old Tube Radio Network Direct the Net roll call. The radios are coming up. Let me go to SWL 48. I'll get a check-in for Sam off of Facebook. SWL 49. Someone asked me to proxy in Brian and Sweet Country Mama, which I will. SWL 50.
50 checking in. Would you also proxy 650, please?
All right, 650. I do believe we got Pinedale Control. Boy, you are sounding good. I did turn and look at my S meter to make sure you weren't parked under my antenna, but you are sounding good, and hopefully you can hear me through all the noise. Thanks for checking in. Okay, let's finish off the page, and then we'll see who's on the video side. SWL 51. Let's try Sangertown again. Over.
SWL 51 checking in.
All right, Adder near Sangertown. Dave might be out there in North Sanger. Mandolinist Kenny Hall used to have a song he called the North Sanger Blues. So I'm sure Mr. 305 knows all about that. Thanks, Dave. You're sounding good.
10-4, Dennis. Take it easy. Enjoy the evening.
Yeah, so far so good. SWL 52, as you heard moments ago, checking in via the remote, via the crossband, and SWL 53 with an early check-in. Before we go to page 3, let me see who's joining us tonight on the video side, and as I say, waving a hand. You can see me waving a hand here. Derby Chat saying, please switch on the Johnson 223. I will. You know what? I will save that. Is it a no-no? Does management? I guess management doesn't like me to turn it on before we're actually in the tubes, because if somebody's coming by, they'll see it on. But anyway, I will not forget. Thank you for the reminder. Radio DX1 from the northeast corner. Radio DX1, be listening, sir, as the northeast corner has actually already taken a transmission in Idaho. Here's the map. I'm going to bring the map up one more time. It's still a little bit sparse, but methinks perhaps we will have some conditions coming up. Hello, Big Rich 6520, taking time out from the studios and all the great things that he does to join us tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thank you, sir. United Delta X-Ray 483 Mud Bucket from his appearance. You were on the wheel, weren't you? Mud Bucket was on the big spinning wheel at Old Radio Night. And so was I. So that was kind of fun. I'm a little bit dizzy from all of that. Also joining us tonight, who else is there? I can see, of course, Chrissy. Tony will be coming up to you. Mark. Mark is listening in, and I thought he might be kicking out early tonight. So I wanted to say hello to Mark up there in High Prairie. Looking forward to another 40-meter contact with you all up there. Of course, Hans is listening in from Copenhagen, GWD Labs. Yeah, we got the Optimod. We opened up the door. That's the only way to get to 11. The Tennessee Travelers says, Dirty Diaper sent me here. Well, I'm glad you've got someone to blame besides me for showing up at the Old Tube Radio Network, but we are glad you are here. Red Fox 1 in Johnson, Rhode Island, the Ocean State, the mini state. You know, how many people thought Rhode Island was actually an island? Raise your hand. He's putting his head in his hand and says, no, we are not an island despite our name. Jack is listening in, saying good evening to Chrissy. JB, aloha, yeah, Kahlua. Did I say that? Kona, on the station. JB, thanks. We were hearing you guys coming in, and then the skip changed, but your gray line's coming up. So I'm thinking we might hear from you. Flaquito de Panama, Hotel Papa 4, Echo Mike Charlie. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I will listen for that call beaconing. I don't know, 20 meters, 15 meters, 10 meters, 40 meters. I don't know. I'm sure you're good on the DX. Red Fox 1. All right. Still in Rhode Island. There's Charlie checking in. Sometimes these things go by so fast I miss them. I just want to take a little time out to say hello, radio, and thank everybody for joining. And there is Neil. Let me get you checked in. I see what's happening. You know, he's far away, and he gets in early because he's a busy guy. And then the onus is on me to find the post, which I just did. So we'll check in 147. What is going on in Kakalaki? Skip was hot till about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, when you heard it was kind of coming and going around here. Midwest, New England, real strong, working 26,915. Yeah, we looked at the chart. You could see that you guys were kind of doing their short skip, sort of like we will probably be doing tonight. 27,395, sounding good. All is quiet now. Dr. Jazz in the Carolinas. I got you this time, so good for me. I'm learning. After 35 years, I'm learning how to do this.
Dennis.
This is the basic Dennis. Over.
Check Joe in also.
All right. We'll do that right now as I actually turn to page 3. Mr. Hustler, 60, looking good, and the X is in the square. If you're listening, Joe, we've got you.
He don't have his antenna up yet. 360. I mean, 603, Joe.
Yeah, 603. However, without an antenna, he could still listen in at oldtuberadio.net on some universal media net web device. So easy to do.
Okay.
All right, but we do have him checked in. Continuing with the roll call. There's a roll call. There is a roll call going on, if I would just find it. SWL, let's see, 54. We're on page 4, so we'll get Mr. Board Jammer checked in. SWL 55 up on the hill. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56. Just because I want to.
Because you want to and you can. You know, let me check. I saw the running man number 4 out earlier. Then he went away. There's somebody way up on 4. No, the running man is back. All right, so hello to you and running man number 4 on the Old Tube Radio Network. Got you checked in. SWL 57, otherwise known from Central Kentucky as Brown Dog Audio. Radio 1DX says the East Coast is occupying 27085, so no chance of hearing the station tonight. Yeah, we were getting, just before the sun went down, we were actually getting some skip conditions from you guys, but it's all, you guys are doing the 1,000-mile hop, so you probably won't hear, you might hear Hawaii on the double hop, but probably not hear us. But that's okay. Keep listening. We'll listen for you guys as well. Did I call 57? SWL 57. SWL 58. Let me give an obligatory proxy for Jeremy, and maybe we will get an update. SWL 59, Uncle Hairball from Old Radio Night, checking in early. Got to chat with 59 earlier, said he would like to get in the horizontal position because he was feeling that kind of way. So I hope you are listening from afar there, 59, and feeling better. SWL 60 moments ago checked in. SWL 61 checked in live and direct from Madera Town. Thank you, Dino. SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. SWL 64 checked in as 00 and looking good from Wisconsin tonight, where who knows what you guys are hearing out there in Nine Land. But thanks for stopping by. As always, let me get your You get your number officially checked in. It logs it somewhere. I don't know. It goes into some big log file that I've never seen before. It's probably got a million check-ins just sitting there. SWL 65. All right, 61. Hello, radio. Hello, Dino. 61. Over.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, I hear you just fine. And we got you checked in. Over. 61. All right, that's the reconfirmation of Dino. Good station out. He always sounds good. Doesn't matter if he's inside, outside, in the car, under the car. He always sounds good. Let's go to SWL 66. Well, he might sound better if he wasn't under the car, but he would sound good. SWL 67. Got a note to check in, Bill out in Oregon. SWL 68. Michael checked in early. Said hello, radio, live and direct on the video side out there in Tulan, New York, NY 157, SWL 69. You know, I didn't see Kenny on my list, but I saw it. Tulsa, Oklahoma was in earlier. Tulsa was in earlier, so Kenny, if you're watching the replay or you are listening, I will get you checked in. In fact, I just did that. It's an easy thing to do. Hello, somebody came up and... they're pointing up to the balcony to say hello. Hello to West Chester, Ohio. Now, in California, we have a West Chester. That's all one word. But you have a West Chester, as like opposed to a North, East, or South Chester. The West Chester is there. Birmingham, Alabama, hello to you. And North Providence, Rhode Island. They haven't floated away yet. Hello to you out there in Rhode Island. Let's go to SWL 70. SWL 71. I have to refresh my page and see if Stan is out there. It can be working. There's a contest going on this week. I don't know what it was. I heard him barely on 20 meters. He has been, as usual, Stan is helping with the VEC, the Volunteer Examiner Coordinators, getting people licensed and upgraded into the ham radio world. He's got, I don't know, quite a few hundreds. I don't know. Good thing. All right, Stan, if you're listening, we will get you checked in. Out from Dallas, Georgia. Let's see, SWL 72. Hello, Radio Boy. I'm going to get Radio Boy checked in. I heard him on Channel 3, Channel 5 earlier. Doing something. He might have forgot. SWL 73. And then over to Eric D. Sounding good. Looking good on the chat window. SWL 74 checked in via the crossband. SWL 75. Foxman 362. How is the tube amplifier doing? Great. You know why? Thanks to Harvey. After banging my head against the wall, Harvey took a look and did some magic. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, a pat here and a tweak there, and we are back on performing flawlessly the last couple of weeks, even better. So yeah, good deal. Thanks to the West Side Radio, it is functioning. I shouldn't have said anything, right? I didn't say a thing. I don't want to jinx anything. Let's go to SWL 77. But thanks for asking, because it is a good thing. A proxy for 77, SWL 78. Richard and Wild Wildemar should be coming by soon. SWL 79.
79, check it in.
And what did Everett used to say? Loud and proud. Indeed. I've got you checked in, Mr. DC.
Thank you, sir.
SWL 80. All right, and who is that? Red Fox 1 asking about an SWL number. How do you get an SWL number? First thing is, I absolutely do not need a number to participate. You don't have to be on any list. You don't even have to have an old tube radio. We have our old tube radio collectors here locally and from afar that can jump in give us a transmission. But I am seeing if there is anything, we kind of have a finite list. Otherwise, we would be doing roll call forever. And that means that's not a bad thing because, there's some nets that's what they do is a roll call. But ours actually is focusing on the tube radios. Checking in the tube radios. I was seeing if I've got anything. I think one came up. I can... Let's do this. This should work. Where are you? Red Fox 1. Where are you at? Type in, I'm just curious where you are at, and I'll see if there's something on the list here in a little bit. We are in the 6th week of the 8-week period, and then we put you on. If you can't check in for 8 weeks, we might reissue the item. But like I said, the number's not necessary, just the fact that you are out here. But I'll see if I can find something for you. Before the evening is over. Just curious where you are digitally transmitting from. All right, nothing from 80. Oh, Rhode Island. There's Gilligan's Island, and then there's Rhode Island. Now, the professor on Gilligan's Island, he can fix a radio, but he can't fix a boat. The professor on Rhode Island, he can fix anything. All right. Before I go, Bob and Steve are here to do see what's going on with the Bob and Steve show. So I'm going to pencil in Red Fox 1, and then hopefully I can read my handwriting. And, in Rhode Island. Let me actually go back over to the other list. Showing up as North Providence. So I'm assuming that Johnson is not too far away. Where it is, coming up on Sunday morning, mostly cloudy and 72 degrees. So there you go. Right off of 295, right? A little due west of one of the provinces, whether it's north, south, east, or west. So looking good. All right, we got you. SWL 76. 76. It looks like you got the last number on this thing. So let me go to the page, and then if you look, I think it is. Is it over my left shoulder? No, it's over my right shoulder. You will see the checking in item. We will go to 76. We will do the call 76, and then it changes from checking in to checked in. And unlike old Radio Night where there's spinning wheels and confetti, that's all we got. But we do have some radios coming up. All right. Mark, put that post-it on the radio, SWL 76. Now, we will be getting to the radios, but first I have to do this. What's it? Pat Paulson says, I have this to say about that. And I can't do anything for Bob and Steve until they play the theme song. Here we go.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
Oh, when there's the whoopee, it's going to be a whoopee. Bob and Steve, thank you, gang, being with us. This is the 174th episode for July 8th, 2023, where it continues to stay warm in Fresno. Yeah, but it was nice today. So the Jingle Singers wanted to set up the volleyball net across the pool. Oh, yeah. Sometimes they do that and they don't tell me. And then they say, go chase the ball. We have it at the 4-foot level for all players. Okay, I didn't know there was a 4-foot level. I always have that little like ducky thing around my waist, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I am in the pool. The freshmen and the police had great fun. The firemen and the police had great fun. The freshmen had good fun too, but they were off somewhere else. The winners all got a night on the town in the limo of their choice. And there are a few from which to choose. I should bring the pictures of the blue limo and the red limo that have their own. They are so big that they have their own zip code. And we have them right here at the old Tube Radio Network. Of course, courtesy of the Costco card to keep things running smoothly, especially with that. Costco has that premium gas, that good like 91 octane stuff. The Jingle Singers are planning to go over in the private jet to the 127th annual Cheyenne Frontier Days. Oh, maybe that is where Mr. Bill is. Maybe he's doing the Frontier Days up there at with Red Monkey Communications at the end of the month. All right, maybe he's prepping for it. Sue is staying busy as the pros are getting ready for the competition. All right, well, good for Sue. The Jingle Singers found a Browning Golden Eagle SSB with the VFO. Wow, Browning amplifier and a Gold D104, and they have it for $300. That is a deal. So I did you give them the $33 tip, or is it the 33-cent tip off of that? That's probably on display somewhere in the green room. Look for a note. They always post the notes on the bulletin board by the elevator. At the bar tonight, Cheyenne Prime Rib Roast. Ooh, I like that. Idaho Baked Potatoes. I like that. Dwayne and Christy will be there. Garden salad rolls and hot. This is my kind of meal. Sign me up, and then sign me up again. Join us after the net. Drinks are on Bob and Steve. They are so good to us here at the Old Tube Radio Network. And as you know by now, don't forget to feed the fish and Pink. You know, I dropped a little, some nice little of the kitty nuggets in the Pink dish, but I'm sure when I get done with the Old Tube Radio Network, there will be some scratching and some more cat food to do that. Back in a little bit here on the Old Tube Radio Network. I got to let this thing cool off.
27.0850 OTR Channel 11.
All right, is the camera still working? Yeah, they're saying. Yeah, I did not make it. I did not make it through the makeup today. So I look the way I look. This is what happens when you jump in the pool and run out and throw on the seersucker suit. Page 4 is where we're at, getting a check-in for SWL 81. Steve Areno on the Cosmic check-in with some of the all of the OTR greats that have checked in for the last 37 years. Good to have them aboard. SWL 82. I think Ron said he might not be here tonight, but anyway, I will get you checked in. Hello, Ron.
Hello, Dennis. 82 checking in. Still out here, and thanks for running your net tonight, man. Sounding good.
All right, yeah, we had a wild time, sort of like you did at the beginning of the Friday night net with stations. See, on your net, the stations check in. They say, hey, there's a net going on, and they check in. Here, it's kind of like they're just talking. They're idle chit-chat to everybody else, and they're not checking in. So that's the plus for the Ditch Banks net. What is the update on the 58 in Tennessee? Any new news out there?
Well, I know he's got his tower, and he's been kind of piddling around working on it, so yeah, I'm just waiting for him to get that tower up. He's going to hang a 11-meter beam off the side of it aimed right at us, so yeah, I can't wait for him to get that all set up.
Oh, okay, that's the thing. You know, when you live in the Midwest like that, it's really, you just point your beam, or you get one of those step IRs where you can just go east and west, because you've got stations surrounding you. Here on the West Coast, I don't know, it's not that easy. All right, you are sounding good. I think you said you were going to be out of the air chair, but we'll give a quick promo to the Ditch Banks sideband net, which happens here on the West Coast, here in the Central Valley of California on Friday evenings, beginning at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on your favorite sideband channel, which is 36 lower. You can check in locally. There's a guest check-in from afar. But as they say, check in. So you are sounding good tonight.
All right, Dennis, thanks. And waving a hand, 428 from Squamish there. They checked in last night. And Canada, Salt Lake City, British Columbia, Kentucky, Wyoming. Yeah, Seattle, Washington, Oregon. Yeah, we got them all last night. So waving a hand at all those guys there. All right, Dennis, thanks.
All right, yes, it was good, and Ron has got that super station out of the Ditch Banks. I can't remember. I think he said it was a homebrew antenna off the clothesline. So depending on if he's hanging out the socks or the percale sheets, depending on who hears what, depending on what gets directional. Thank you, Ron. Looking good on the old Tube Radio Network. Page 4 is where we are at. Chrissy says, I look... Thanks, Chrissy. You know, it is the pocket protector. It is what they say. It's a pocket protector that makes the man. So I will not be seen without it when we get on to the old Tube Radio Network here. Looking for SWL 83. SWL 84. That's the Cheerios Kid. And followed up by the three lovely ladies, SWL 86, 87, and 88, the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, respectively. We'll get them all proxied in. And I believe, is it in the picture? It's not in the picture. Well, the Messenger 223 might have been a radio belonged to Mountain Maid. I know the Robin was. So it's nice that it's here on display. Let's go to SWL 89. SWL 90. Way out there. Where is it Sunday yet? Not quite. SWL 91. Out there just south of the Bronx. Felix checking in, saying hello, of course, to the old Tube Radio Network, all the shortwave listeners and old Tube Radio operators who are standing by with their radios. SWL 92. Shortwave listener 93, Southern New Jersey. Come on, New Jersey, we've got Rhode Island, SWL 76, looking good, and New Jersey, nothing. All right, let's go to, speaking of looking good, from beautiful Orlando, Florida, Warthog 95, hello, radio. With an X in the square. Okay. I haven't heard... I was talking to a couple guys in Florida on 40 meters, and I haven't heard them in a long time. My antenna's too low. I still want to talk to Mal out there in Hollywood and tell him, hey, Mal, I've got an FT102. I want to send your way. Let's go to Kerman, SWL 96. SWL 97. Beautiful Boston. Hello, Jim. There is a bit of a delay for even getting to Clovis. Boston's a different thing. SWL 98. Tracy. Hello, radio. And it's not quite the bandish now. So I'm expecting maybe a little E-skip or something. There is Tracy. Hello, 98 is checking in. Let me go quickly to the DX map. Still happening. We've still got some stuff, but look at that on the, like you guys, they're saying, it's like you can't hear it on channel 11 because that's what's happening out there on the east side. Whoa. So I don't know what it is. Did somebody go up there and sprinkle the clouds with DX dust or something? I don't know. Just my meter. We are looking for Radio Randy, SWL 99. I've not seen Randy, so I'll hang off on that, but he will probably be by. I talked to 10 meters last night. There was guys in Arizona, Washington, after the ditch banks net. So if we get some conditions, we probably might hear Randy tonight. Now, let me try... Okay, I think I've got it. Let me try the Echo link and see if it is working, because none other than the purveyor of tubes on the air himself, Mr. Tony out there in Clintonville, South Carolina, is listening in. We'll see if we can't pick him up. KD4BAO from KB6GFDO. Get our Echo link.
Good evening,
tonight.
Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. And back to net control, KD4BAO.
All right, and it is good to be heard. You were sounding good on the Echo link. You've got the tubes on the air stand set up, and we will be there in about 5 minutes. here on the West Coast and beaconing all over. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you in a bit. KB6GFD 73. All right, Tony is in on time as always. SWL 102, Scranton, Arkansas. John was in earlier. I got him checked in, but I will say hello radio and get him checked in right now. SWL 103. Shortwave listener 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
Hey, sounding good. We missed you last night. I know you were at the meeting on the Ditchbank sideband net, but you are making up for it tonight. And I know Ron is listening. So 82, there's the voice we missed last night. 109, you are sounding good, and we got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis. You're sounding great tonight.
All right, and you did get checked in, by the way, but just we're always waiting for that the beacon from Mr. Crawdad. All right, sounding good. Thank you, sir. Over to SWL 110. And Chrissy, yeah, Skip did drop out completely. I opened up my RF gain on the squelch. There's like one little square on the DX map. Does that mean we don't have any? Well, we'll find out. If there's anybody that knows how to break in on Skip, it is SWL number 30. SWL 111, Robert, who checked in earlier but was not hearing us do the Skip. So 111, you're checked in. SWL 113. SWL 114, hello, Wayne.
114 checking in.
Hey, doing good, sir. 114 beaconing in. The old Tube Radio Network tonight. The X is in the square. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
And taking a sip of, thanks, guys. I think it is. It is iced tea with just a little bit of lemon and no sugar because the lemonade is sweet. Perfect. That will keep me going until we aren't checking in radios. Let's go to SWL 128. And as always, John, the SWL that he is, digital SWL as well, at least for the old Tube Radio Network, is checking in right now. And so I will put the X in the square, looking good from Fairfax, Virginia. Thank you, John. Hope you are doing well. Let's go to Clovistown, SWL 131. Northwest Fresno, SWL 133. Not so north and not so west Fresno, SWL 135. Although more north and west than me, over.
Okay, SWL 135 checking in.
All right, and sounding good. I believe, let the SWLs know that was a teaser on a radio that is going to be probably on our Tube Radio list. So keep it warm and we'll be right back. Okay, 135 is in. You know, Tony just hooked up on the Echo link. So there's a bit of a delay, but let me get in because I did hear Tony through the Skip, and we'll see what's going on. So let me jump into. I need to fire that up. Let me jump into the Echo link and see if Tony can hear me. We'll get you checked in on the old Tube Radio Network. AJ6PD from KB6GFD, over.
Good evening, Dennis. SWL 145 checking in, please.
All right, Tony, we've got you checked in. No problem. All right, sounding good, Tony, and we just go ahead and unkey the Echo link, and all will be good. Or not. All right, Tony checked in via Echo link. All right, that's good. Oh, and I wanted to get to Tony's Friday night questions. See if I can find them here. Number one, what useful item made by the Don Bosco Company appeared in the shirt pockets of engineers in the early 1960s? So what useful item made by the Don Bosco, and it wasn't chocolate milk, it's not that guy. Don Bosco Company appeared in the shirt pockets of engineers in the early 60s. And I'll give you a hint. It was not a pocket protector either. And the answer is the pen-sized Stetho Tracer signal tracer. I remember some of the guys at the TV station had those. It looked like a pen, of course, but it had the little probe and probably a little light on it as well. I'm going to have to see if I can find a picture of the Don Bosco Stetho Tracer coming up later. And the second question from Friday's Morning Net, what was the most common intermediate frequency used in tube-type, take three, in tube-type receiver IF amplifiers? I'll say that again. What was the most common intermediate frequency used in tube-type receiver IF amplifiers? And even in my Hallicrafters walkie-talkie, I think even have it. I know Harvey knows the question. And it is 455 kilohertz. In fact, I think the crystals on my Hallicrafters were 455 kilohertz apart. The receive was down at 26 something, and the transmit, of course, was 27085, because it was on channel 11 minus 455, and that was your receive frequency. So there you go. All right, thanks for the always good questions. Direct net roll call. Tubes coming right up. Neil, 147. We got you earlier from Kakalaki, sounding good. Then we jump all the way up to Mr. Snow Beast Jr., SWL 188. Mr. Course Gold Starliner, Jim checked in earlier. Jim, if you are there, take a transmission, over. You did get him early, so no problem there. And also the guy up at Mount Bullion, Jeff, Mr. Shockwave, has the best ears up there at 3,000 feet by the airport. I climbed one of the Mount Bullion towers long ago to take down a receive dish. And I think everything went well. We didn't get attacked by bears, and I didn't fall off the tower. But it's a nice area up there. So, Jeff, if you're still there listening, I'm going to do the 226 yet again at the proper check-in point. And he might be listening in, because I see Mariposa's in on the big board. Who else? Germantown, Wisconsin is back on the item, coming in the door up there. Thanks. And anybody else would like to check in? Then we're going to get to the radios, I promise. OTR listening for any check-ins. And Gary says it's 66. You know, there is a breeze this morning. Gary, there was a breeze from your area, from the Delta. I always know at 6 in the morning we get the breeze, it's going to be a nice day. I left the window. When is a door not a door? And when is a window not a window? When it's ajar. And I left the window ajar behind me so I can get a little bit of... So I can get a little of the breeze coming through the window. Looks good. All right, a couple of minutes. Let me reconnoiter, get set up for the tube radios. We will have at least one. And I know we will have more than that. So back in a moment on your old tube radio network. Thanks, everybody. Mumbling. good. All right, let's give it a shot here on the Old Tube Radio Network, as they say, ready for blast-off.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, let me sit myself back down into the Old Tube Radio Network air chair. Your Old Tube Radio Network since, I don't know, 1986, 87. It's been a long time. And thanks to our tube radio operators keeping us going here. Shortwave listeners, like myself, enjoying every moment. And, like, who is it? Somebody said they were out restoring a radio. Red Fox 1, restoring a couple. So you might find the one that you're restoring checking in tonight. We do have people that can answer technical questions sometimes. And we would definitely like to see a picture of anything you restored and get updates when you make a contact. Even if we can't hear you. I want to say hello to Uncle Gunter, who says hello radio. Wow. And where he says it might be over 100 degrees. Crack the windows open to get some airflow inside the place already in the morning. And back in the San Fernando Valley. Well, I was just down the road from me there on the San. I was not a San Fernando Valley, but I lived at the beach. So always the San Fernando Valley had 100-degree temperatures as well. All right, we are going to check in radios, and that is why I'm here. So the Old Tube Radio Network is listening for any and all radios. Oh, wait. No, don't unkey yet. He said they're like, oh, wait. Okay, first thing we're going to do is turn on the 223. And I have to find the foot switch again. All right, the 223 is on. And then we have to get our sponsor, such that it is. Is it the right one? I thought there was a different one. Okay, well, this is the one I've got. So that's what we're going to do. We have Budco Metronics Incorporated Wholesale Electronic Parts and Components at 601 West 11th Street in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the 46302 area code. Let me go to the less than stellar close-up cam, and that is not it. I think it's this one. Yes. Oh, there it is. And we are looking at... This is always so difficult because it's never in focus. Here we go. Budco Metronics Incorporated Wholesale Electronic Parts and Components. And into the pocket protector it goes. Okay, I am fixed into the air chair. They said get rid of the mic shadow. Okay, that's the iced tea glass. Okay, now. The Old Tube Radio Network, listening for any and all radio check-ins.
135.
Okay, pausing. 135, you seem to have it free and clear, so do not pass go. In fact, go straight through the green room. You can come back and enjoy all the stuff there, but we want to get you into the air chair at 9:14 Pacific Daylight Time. Cliff has an item of interest, no doubt. Take a transmission, sir.
Okay. I was kind of hoping Paul would make it in there because the skip's gone away. Let's see. This is SWO 135, checking in a radio that originally came evidently from Winnisquam, New Hampshire. This is the Tram Titan. No 2, 3, or 4 or anything. It's just the Tram Titan, the original. AM only. All 23 channels transmit and VFO receive. Also, you can have one crystal for an extra receive channel. There are 12 tubes in this thing, and an awful lot of knobs and things. I would like to take a teeny bit of time. I can actually do this pretty quickly and audition a couple of microphones, if I may.
All right, we can do that. I'll bring up the Orban meter. We can check the loudness, the photo I'm showing at oldtuberadio.net, and on the video, Tram Titan from the collection of Cliff, right there. And I still kick myself when Mr. Bill was thinning the herd, as it were, before he had to ship out to Cheyenne. He had a beautiful Tram Titan for sale on the shelf, and I wanted to pick it up, and I didn't. I can't remember why, because it's a beautiful radio. It uses the same meter that is on the previous model, which was the TR27E, I believe, but a different radio for sure. Like the rack handles, some of the radios do have rack handles. This one does as well. And it started a new era for Tram. Let me see if I've got any information. I'm looking to see if we have an actual sales price, which I don't. But I've got a mic wiring, so we'll talk about that. And it says notes, 11/15/2018. Well, that's a long time ago. Sold on eBay for $129 for parts non-working. Well, you certainly don't have a parts radio here. Take a transmission.
Not anymore. The meter is actually quite different from the TR27E. This has 3 scales on it because of the multi-function switch in the back, which has built-in dummy load and SWR meter and all that good kind of stuff. Power meter and of course S meter, which I'm using now. The microphone, I should mention I'm low in frequency for full fidelity receive on your end. Mine says 0845, so it is a teeny bit low, unfortunately, in frequency. This is the Pace plastic handheld unamplified microphone to start out with. And then, like I say, I want to check out a couple of others real quick.
All right, I've got a good shot of, let's go back to the radio, a good shot of the S meter so we can see your peaks on the forward modulation up to S9. Boy, it sounds louder than it is. Nice audio, nice crisp audio, and I've got the Orban meter, and we'll do a frequency check. So that is, what was this microphone that you're probably changing things. So anyway, I'll go back to you, and if you've changed it, go ahead and take a transmission.
Yeah, I can change these real quick. It's a 1/4-inch stereo plug, so I can just pop them out and pop them in real quick. This is a gray bass amplified D104. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Suffering sibilance, boom, boom, boom. I should have done that with the Pace microphone, huh? So how's that one?
Yeah, do the obligatory sizzling sausage, orange furniture, boom, boom, boom. All right, I've got that one noted. Went to the S meter. It doesn't peak as much because you are missing some of the really sharp, higher frequencies that give you a little bit more modulation percentage. It sounds good, though. It's definitely not undermodulated, and the LKFS on the Orban was down a dB. But does it sound bad? No. It's just missing a sharper high-frequency component that the other microphonium had, a little bit mellower. So maybe this is your late-night microphonium. All right, I think you said you had another one?
Actually, I got a couple more. Is this one working? Yes. Hello. This might be even mellower. This is the DN50. Excuse me. Delta November -50. Also biostatic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Suffering sausages. A boom, boom, boom. Orange furniture. Baby, baby, baby. So how does this one compare?
All right. If you watch the replay, the meter, the LKFS on the Orban, the higher the number, they go by minus 18, 16, 17. The higher the negative number, the lower the negative number, you got to think about this, be lower and above zero, the more loudness is there. All right, so let's talk about this. Interesting. This, to your ear, doesn't sound, to me, almost as loud as the first microphone because it doesn't have the high frequency component, but it has a big low mid component, and so in theory it actually is the loudest microphone thanks to the lower frequencies. You have a little more forward movement on the S meter. It was going above S9, and you are at like minus 19, 18, so it's definitely got some more loudness, I think, thanks to the boost in that low mid frequency. However, it is not as articulate, so it might not be a good DX microphone. It's loud, but it's missing a little bit of high frequency articulation. But this is, for loudness, the loudest microphone, but the least articulate, if that makes any sense. Go ahead.
Okay, this will probably be the worst one yet. Yeah, I really thought the D104 gray bass was going to have lots of highs in it, but I'll have to listen, I guess not. This is the original desktop microphone as pictured. If you've got my picture up there, it's the black Turner unamplified desk microphone. 54321, sibilance, a boom, 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 articulation 1212. I know it's not very loud, but so how does this stack up?
Not that bad. It's loud. You are probably on the LKFS OR band. This one is has the least loudness, but not by much. S meter's still moving quite good, but not peaking anywhere close to 9 like the last microphone was. This has the component of the first microphone turned down. That's what it sounds like to me. You went to the first microphone, you turn things down. So it's got the articulation, but it doesn't have the volume level. So, all right, so 1, 2, 3. So this is microphone 4, and you have another one, or we have 4 from which to choose?
That's it. I've gone back to the Pace microphone, the handheld Pace. Hello. Yeah, I don't know how this. I think it might be a crystal microphone. But yeah, all my meters are indicating I just don't see how this is so loud. But yeah, hopefully this has got the articulation, the 54321 sibilance. Oh, incidentally, on that desk, the original desk mic I just had, I was right on that thing too. I was right into it. You know, I wasn't at arm's length like I was with the static mics. And this one I'm holding it comfortable about 4 inches away. So this one, these are all wired up for all my trams. So I wanted to see which mic on which tram sounds best. I didn't want to take up too much of everybody's time, and also I didn't know if the skip was going to crash me out. So, but since the skip went away, I thought, let's give this a shot. Because I've never put a lot of other microphones on this Tram Titan before. So, what do you think? The original, this is, when I say original, this is the first mic I wired up for this radio when I got it. And it's always performed pretty well. Some people think it's a little harsh. What do you think?
All right, and our SWLs are chiming in. So just for the SWLs now, this is the microphonium that he started off with first, that we went with number 1. A couple people said number 1 they like, and that's this microphone has the articulation. It sounds loud, but when you look at the loudness level, it's actually a little bit less than microphone number 3, I think it was, or 2, where that has that low frequency component, but unfortunately it's like the wrong low mids for articulation. A couple people checking in that they like 2 and 3. So depending on how they're listening, obviously they're listening over the internet. I'm transmitting directly out of the radio into the internet, so I'm trying not to introduce any items of interest. So perhaps a mellow tone is a little better depending on what they're listening on. So 1 is probably, the one you're on now, probably gets the majority of people saying yes. 2 and 3 are not bad. I liked, actually 4 wasn't bad. It just wasn't as loud. So you might be able to run 4, but turn it up. So this is probably the best all-around mic for DX, for loudness, And probably what you could do if someone says, it's a little harsh, is like you did, is just back off a little bit. Over.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stick with it then. Just had to try. Those other, the static mics, those are the ones I use on my, the other tram, the TR27E. And this is for the record, in case anybody can find these, it's a black and white plastic pace mic, Papa Alpha Charlie Echo. It's a P, as in Papa, 5538. That's Papa 5538. That's what it says on the back, and it says high imp. So I'm guessing high impedance mic is the thing to use on these. I'm not sure, but thanks for indulging me. I'll get out of everybody's way. I haven't checked this radio in this year yet, and so I thought I would try to do that. Thanks very much for letting me check it in.
All right, don't go away, because I do want to do the frequently check. Also want to say 73 to Larry, checking out from Iowa City, Iowa. I guess you can always watch the replay. I think YouTube for some reason lets these videos stay up forever. I don't know, but they are up, so you can always come back. Sometimes I do that. I think, did I do anything on Saturday? And I watch the replay. All right, everybody, all the microphones sound good. There is no microphone in that stock where you have to use one. There's like, oh, I don't want to use that. They're all good. I think the one that was the loudest to the meter was the one to my ear. I didn't like as much. It just seemed a little muffled. So you've got them all. So the one you started with, which is this one, probably will be your best all-around microphonium. What else did I want to say? Yeah, good for, like Uncle Gunther says, good for DX and good for rag chewing. Take a transmission. We will pop over to the frequency side and see what's going on with that. Over.
Okay, guys, kind of hoping you... It's down. I should have adjusted it, but it drops in frequency as it heats up. And so it started out pretty close, like 0849, 0848, somewhere around there. And unfortunately, by the time it started getting dark and everything, it was 0845. So I got to tune this thing a little high, I think. How's that?
It is good, and you are right on with 27.084.5. That's about where I would get the zero beat. Hopefully in future episodes, and it may be a couple months, we will have a thing we previewed earlier from Larry's SDR stream, but we'll have an SDR here that I could actually put up a picture, and we can count the hash mark. We can actually see where the radio is in connection with center frequency, such that 27.085 would be that, and whether the radio is drifting up, down, or not at all. So that should be pretty cool, I hope, coming up as a tool on your old tube radio network. For radio number 1, which I've been so busy turning knobs, sorry, I did not write down that you were on the Tram Titan from, I'm going to say 1964, 63, 64, 65. Tram Titan was an all-steel, all-tube chassis, AM only, as you said, with great transmit, as we hear, and receive, which you hear. Collins mechanical filters in the front end. Mic wiring, number 1, audio, number 2, shield, number 3, receive, and number 4, transmit. So is that electronic switching? That is not electronic switching, is it?
No, sir. In fact, whenever you key this up, you hear a nice loud clack from inside the radio. There is a large, loud, visible relay that switches when you key and unkey. Okay.
But there it is. Audio shield, receive, transmit, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess that's on the radio. CB number 13 is the Sam's photo fax for more information. And it says if you click over to oldtuberadio.com and search for the Tram Titan, there is an operator's manual, of which you obviously don't need, but there is one there that might have some groovy little informations and pictures and stuff like that. Radio number 1, the Tram Titan. Do we have a picture? Oh, yeah, the picture. Let me go back to the full screen. The picture that we have is the radio on which Cliff is speaking. I'm going to go to the extreme close-up, and there is a microphonium in the picture, and I zoomed in, and I cannot tell. It looks like it says Turner, and it definitely looks like a Turner-style microphone.
I'm sure it was made by Turner, but the little red meatball in the middle does say Tram in very small white letters.
Okay, yes, the red meatball, and it's just, I can't zoom in far enough, but there they are, right there. So it's the Turner-style microphonium. I want to ask you a couple of questions. It's a cool radio. And I looked at the meter. Yeah, there's all sorts of little gradations and scales on that thing, but it's nice and large. Volume, squelch, you have an RF gain and a limiter, and those are all variable. Pretty cool, especially with the mechanical filter in the front end. This was their top-of-the-line radio, obviously. The Dink-Oidal, just like on the other one, the Dink-Oidal channel selector. The receive is beautiful, but man, that transmit channel selector is like, oh my gosh, give me a magnifying glass. And then a crystal port. So somewhere you must have a switch to switch over to crystal receive, over?
Yeah, just to the lower left of the transmit channel selector, directly below the word Titan, it says M and X. That knob is not adjustable. It's just a click-clack left and right, and that selects main tuning or X for crystal tuning. It doesn't tune, actually. It just switches you over to that crystal socket.
There you go. Levon, SWL 5 saying he's got the Titan 2 and loves it. Titan 2 added the double sideband. So in competition with who else had that? Regency Imperial had the double sideband. That was all about 1966 or so, back when they were trying to figure out, let's do that sideband thing. But double sideband might not be the best way to go, but nice and loud. So Tram Titan looks good. And I'm sure that you have the 27085 crystal plugged in there, ready to go. Flip the switch and you are ready for Saturday night. It's sounding good. Glad we could be of assistance, I hope, on the microphoniums. And yeah, we've got it all on tape, on YouTube tape for you to watch back at your leisure.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Like I say, I've never auditioned all these microphones on this radio anyway. I think I did them on the 27E, and I thought, well, gosh, I haven't heated this thing up in a while. Let's do it. And thanks for giving me that opportunity. Thanks for letting me check it in. We'll see you next time.
Okay, very good. And I think the general consensus is nobody's knocking any of the four microphones. If you are listening, or your headphoniums, or you are into a little bit more mellow, 2 and 3, number 1 probably all-purpose, and number 4 wasn't bad at all. It just seemed like it was number 1 to me, turned it down a little bit, so it could be play with that on the volume. But again, when you look at the LKFS meters and the movement on the S meter, you will see everything is definitely in that generic ballpark. So there you go. Were I to have a Tram Titan, I would love to hear what the audio board could do with that radio, because it seems like it's passing a lot of full fidelity. Thanks for bringing it by on the Old Tube Radio Network. This is Dennis, over. Yeah, without the noise still coming through into Midtown Fresno, over. Well, let's see. You are above my noise level, but you always have good audio. So even if you don't show up on the S meter, I hear you. So I'm going to say it's very similar to the way it always sounds, over. All right. I always have to defer to your great receiver, because my radio is the one that usually has the issue. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. We've got our first radio on the board. The jingle singers are ready and waiting to let people know what it is that we do here on Saturday evenings.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR. Old Tube Radio. Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
I like the way they did that little repeat thing. That was good. OTR standing by, and we are listening for any and all check-ins this evening. It is a beautiful night out. It is currently 78 degrees, which is quite nice. So we're catching up. We finally cooled down. The sun goes down. We're catching up with that Delta breeze from Sacramento. But still, you guys got us by an easy cooled 10 degrees. OTR listening. Now, cornbread, would that be the regular style or the chunky style of Skippy? Let's go to the DX map. Let's see. I have to check my audio. Am I over-modulating? No, I'm fine. The radios are good. The DX map. Notice that we are getting a little more activity. Up in the northwest, Washington, Oregon, Idaho is showing up. Oregon is definitely showing up. Southern Oregon, which was what was coming in last night. I talked to some stations there. There's a Nevada, Utah, Colorado maybe. So the short E-skip, sporadic, looks like it's trying to happen here. So we'll be listening. And yeah, Hawaii probably as well. We'll have to check our a map. Let's see if the map is there. It's not coming up. The map for our gray line. There's our gray line map. And if I move over to the right spot, you can see gray line is. Oops, I went too far. Gray line is coming up right now on the Hawaiian Islands, so we could be hearing something from them. OTR standing by. Oh, and let me get SWL Dennis. I apologize. I saw your post, and then I got involved in the item du jour. So let me get 96. I got you checked in earlier, but there's the official check-in, listening in. Isn't that cool? You can kind of dial up the digital device and listen to what's going on here in the neighborhood. So SWL 96, almost from the fields of Kerman, checking in tonight. You know what? I think from where you said you were you to have a 11-meter radio, you might hear us beaconing in tonight on channel 11. So Mr. Poon Pickard 96, so we've got you checked in. OTR is standing by and listening for any and all check-ins. Hello to Chicago, listening in. Could that be Mr. Fiedler, 34, tuning us in? Hopefully I didn't miss. I'll have to check, see if I missed Jimmy stopping by with a check-in tonight. Let me put on a picture from Daniel McLean. This is a great shelf radios and the Sam's photo fax. Let me pop this up for those of you who have the video, and I'll try to describe it. If you don't, it says he has a few of the Sam's CB volumes, not all. That's what is it, like 250 or something. If someone needs some info on specific radio, please do not ask me to scan a whole volume. It's too time consuming, but at least you can go to a page. So let me see. Let me pop that up. There it is. So I like the way that is. The nice shelf with the Sam's photo fax. And I always try, when we have information to give out the Sam's, a nice bevy of radios, including, is that the Trinidad? Definitely the Cam 98, the 88, a couple of Cobras in there, and some real nice stuff. But I like the way, that is a nice vintage, almost like a library, a vintage rack of goodies on display from Daniel McLean. So thanks for letting us use your photo. I even see a CPI above that, and all good radios. You got a nice shack there. So hopefully you can find the rest of those Sam's photo fax. Kind of hard to get them all, but they do exist. OTR standing by.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
The station for you is OTR, standing by for any and all check-ins. Now, there's a pretty lousy antenna. My noise level's at 0. Because I've got things turned down a little bit, so it's not so much noise for the listeners. But that's the band has certainly quieted down. All right, let me go back to the photo of Foxman. Let's see, you said the Midland radios. Where are the Midlands? One of those in the center. There looks like a Pace Midland, and there's some also cool stuff up at the top as well. And this is that, but interesting story. I like the fact that you can, meet somebody over the radio, and it is a good thing, but there it is. And that, of course, is from Daniel. All right, OTR is standing by. Cornbread, I wonder how many jars of Skippy were consumed in front of tube radios. I wonder if Annette Funicello, I think she was a spokesperson for Skippy. How many, was Annette Funicello, did she ever have an old tube radio? OTR standing by with no answers to these rhetorical questions.
You don't want answers? You don't want answers? You can't handle the answers.
Well, I don't have the answers, but that's not necessarily to say that I don't want the answers. Perhaps you might have a few answers. Anyway, good to hear you out here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
Roger. Okay. Thank you. I was listening in the other room on the stream. I was watching the clock too. Okay, I'm checking this radio in. This is a 23 S9 Brownie transmitter, along with a R2700 receiver and an unamped D104 on the radio right now. 23 channels, no weighting on the transmitter, and tunable 23 channels on the R2700. The 23S9 was possibly their second transmitter made for 11 meters. It's debatable. The S9 was supposedly the first. Then they had a couple of three smaller transmitters mixed in after the S9, possibly before this or at the same time as this. The transmitter, 23 channel, transmit with an on-the-air modulation light, an S meter that does modulation, not an S meter, reflected and forward power meter does SWR and modulation. Not really a power output meter. And the receiver's got an S meter, noise limiter, variable control with a switch out, squelch volume, main tuning switch along with ABCDE channels for crystals that you insert on the bottom to a little door underneath the receiver. Being this is the first receiver, they have a switch on the lower right, lock on or spring loaded, lock on down, spring loaded to the top for transmit positions. Or you could use it with a relay, which is what I'm doing.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. I've got a close-up of the R2700 with switch. It looks like it says receive 1, 2. It's actually very complicated. It's like crystal controlled, receive controlled. I definitely want to read the manual for this. There's the S meter that goes either from bottom to top. I can't really tell the reflection if it goes up to 30 over or 40 over. They got it calibrated different. One thing I like is a nice big front throw speaker, so I'm assuming the audio is good. And then not only the channel selector, but it looks like it has the frequency as well. So this was a definitely more advanced receiver for sure, the R2700, 1959 to 1960. So yeah, probably their first one, 1959, when the band was open, late 58. So most of the radios didn't get produced until 1959, just to get in on with the items. The price, $150 for just the receiver. I'm not sure if I had a price on the transmitter. 23S9. Put them together. A little finesse. You sound good. I'm gonna have you also transmit at some point without the Harvey range boost. It is interesting. You have a lot of forward movement that you normally don't have. So I wonder if the drive, and don't fiddle with things, but if the drive on the transmitter is low enough to give you that extra, distance between unmodulated and modulated. I just want to hear what it does, how it makes the audio sound. But we'll do that as a separate thing. Very loud. It's almost loud enough where it gets a bit fuzzy, I think, but it's very loud, so it's not a problem at all. So it definitely sounds like a Browning, but we'll try it without the Harvey range boost at some point. Back to you.
Okay. I was probably a little too close to the microphone. By itself, the transmitter does about 5 swinging to 13, 14, something like that. It's not bad. This one has the small channel selector, excuse me, on the transmitter. It's a aluminum dial that's kind of stuck on there, and it's got a knob with a little pointer, insert type thing. And channel 1 starts at about 7 o'clock, or we'll say 6:30 position, and you do clockwise all the way around to 23, which shows up about at the 5:30 position. Excuse me, with channel 12 at around 12 o'clock. The other model has the numbers in the same position, however, they're painted on, and it's got the chicken head knob. So there's the difference in the transmitters. Anyway, okay. I'll come back next time without the range boost.
Okay, Uncle Gunter saying, and I agree, I am impressed. He says, I am impressed how all these old radios still sound. And they sound good. Our tube radio operators, our collectors are the best here. Showing from an ad, and it's got the 2700A and the 23S9, but just to show the difference, and I'll go to the other 23S9 transmitter, the one in the picture here. Let me see if I can get any closer. Whoa, yeah, I can get closer. Has the smaller knob that Harvey was talking about, the different switches. That's a 23S9. It says 23S9 brings all channel operation to your base station as standing wave indicator, Pi network circuitry, TVI trap, spotting switch, and many other features that make it the talk of the airwaves. Also available famous S9 and compact transmitters. The receiver they're showing is a 2700A, the world's most up-to-date CB transceiver, is antenna tuning control, planetary ball drive, all-channel tuning control, silicon rectifier power supply, selective, sensitive, sensational for your alliterative items. Let's go to the transmitter. Get it back in the screen here. And this is the actual 23S9 with the chicken head, with the numbers painted on, as he said, and the S meter there. Pretty impressive. And do I have a price? $150 for the receiver. Transmitter from 1960, 61, 62. No. They were built in two different styles of channel selectors, which we talked about. Standing wave indicator, Pi network, and the talk of the airwaves. All right. We were going to do a test for something, and so back to you.
Okay, 27085, 1 flipping to 2. My kind of external type of frequency counter that I have generally hooked up all the time behind the radios with the range boost thing on doesn't like to read. But without it, reads fine. A little over 5 to 13, 14. Oh, the receiver on the 2700 has a 5Y3 tube and a OB2 voltage regulator. So in the power supply, instead of diodes, has a 5Y3 tube. This one is stock with the 5Y3 tube. Excuse me, I have another one up on the shelf, R2700, and I can't remember if that has the tube or the diodes. Now, the R2700A actually, depending on if it's an early model, could have the tube. The early models of the A had the two chassis bolted together, and then they went to single chassis. The R2700 had the two chassis bolted together for the most part. I do have an R2700A up on a shelf working with my compact transmitter, and it has the R2700 chassis, but it's got the R2700A internals. So there you go. How about that? They had some chassis left over, so they decided to use them. By the way, this radio is sold and will be shipped out next week.
Ah, okay, so it's going to a good home. You're getting our test run of it here on the Old Tube Radio Network, so maybe we'll hear it wafting in somewhere sometime. Good job. And nobody's going to have a problem with that being heard, whether it's local or a skip. Doing a good job. The audio is good without the not that it messes up with the range boost, but without the range boost, the audio is actually a little cleaner, I think, and still quite loud. So works well. I'm hearing you just fine.
Okay. The gain control in the transmitter audio gain, I think is set at 1/2. If it's not, that's where I'm going to set it before it goes out. I can't quite see inside to see where it's set because I can't get the light to shine just right in there so I can see. I'm trying to look, I can't see. Anyway, I will pop the top and check it before it goes out. Anyway, this one was not pieced together. This is the way I got it, transmitter and receiver together. Some I get a separate transmitter and a separate receiver and see if I can make them work together. This one came this way because somebody painted them a flat, kind of a dull gold color on the cases. The cases need to be repainted. They are a little scratched up. I haven't done anything to it because I wasn't going to keep it. Anyway, that's the R2700 23S9.
All right, sounds very good. And the microphonium you have now, that is non-amplified?
Non-amplified D104. It is with a straight cord on it. This was an eBay steal. Somebody had it up on eBay. I don't know if it works. But what I noticed was the head had all chrome screws, was all in good shape overall, and I thought, straight cord, meant it was an older mic, so I thought, I'll take a chance, and I got very lucky. Excellent head on it as far as I can tell, and if you haven't said that I sound funny with it, so there you go. So I did not put the Golden Beagles unamp mic on it. I'm just using this one. Anyway, there we go. I got one more to check in, and it's 10 o'clock.
All right, sounds good. Boy, if you have to make an audio adjustment, you definitely don't want to be turning anything up if that's an unamplified microphone. And it sounds like you're quite a distance away, and I can hear, the room noise a little bit in the background. So, yeah, it's got plenty of audio. If you're running an amplified mic, you'd have to turn it way down. So it doesn't need any more sound, that's for sure. Radio number 2 is, and you're hearing it and seeing it, the 23S9 transmitter, the R2700 receiver paired together. They're I guess flagship 1959 through about 1961 between the 2700A, the 2700, and the 23S9. That sound that was like no other in the early days, but definitely not a plug-and-play radio. A lot of interconnecting cables and spotting between the transmitter and the receiver and knowing what you wanted to do. But I suppose if you're on a business, you'd have everything set up, you'd leave it there, and you'd give out your call and base to Unit 1. Thanks, Harvey. And the lucky owner will definitely enjoy that radio. Thanks.
Roger, one more to go.
Okay, the one more to go frequency, maybe, or so here at 10 o'clock. Let's let the jingle singers who have at least one more to go. We'll be back in about 20 seconds.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Did someone say wonderful Fresno in the same sentence? OTR standing by.
We'll do this one. The Golden Beagle by Browning Laboratories. Custom D104 with the Browning medallion on the back of the head of the microphone. The old standby radio. Well, the radio just looked at me and said, "Don't call me old." Okay, well, all right. Anyway, 23 channels, no waiting. The Golden Beagle. There you go.
All right, it's amazing how, 5, 6, 7 years later, they have a very similar sound between the radios. So they didn't change much, but made them a little bigger and sensitive receiver, and add things here, take things out there. This one is definitely a bit smoother on the audio, but very similar, even on the S meter reading as well. Sounding good. Got a picture from the brochure. The Golden Eagle, the first of the pair to use the Golden Eagle, but this is not a Mark II. I guess it is almost a Mark II. I don't know what the changes were. This is the Mark None, the Mark I, really known as the R68 T60. Is that correct?
Yes. The R68 T68. Fireworks. The Mark II is the R69 T69. They have kind of a weird two models set up with it based on whether it came with the sideband transmitter or not. Sideband only transmitter. But this one is the R68 T68. They made two models, as you know. I won't go into that. I'm trying to see if the others had any R numbers, but, you have the R27, S23, and then the T2700 and T2700S transmitter. And then you have just a plain old compact transmitter. It didn't get an R number.
Well, maybe they just forgot. Okay, before you go on that one, the microphone you have, I'm not sure how far away you are. What if you were to come up? I just want to hear what the radio does. If you come up, don't change your volume level of your voice, but just the proximity to your radio mouth and the microphone, and bring that closer together if you can.
I believe the term was eat the mic. Okay, I'm closer to the mic. Of course, it could be a difference in the heads on the two microphones.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want you to eat it or make your voice any different. Now that sounds to me that sounds more like the other radio, just in the clarity of things. But this radio always sounds good. The Beagle is hard to be outdone. All right, sounds good. You were as they say, as you were, back to in the comfortable operating position, which always sounds good. And we are logging that in. Wait, we got 3 radios for Radio 3. And thanks for the Brownings over.
Roger. Okay, I'll be standing by listening.
All right, let me get the jingle singers back. Is it time for that? Gosh, it's already past 10 o'clock. So, yeah, we'll do some counting and amounting probably. It is Sunday in many parts of our listenership here on the West Coast. Not quite, but it's going anyway. And you can hear the band. The skip has pretty much gone away. Let me before I go too far, see what's going on with our DX map, because I think things are still open. Look at that on the East Coast. They're still getting some good numbers, not quite into 6 meters, and we're still having some items of interest here. So you just never know. So don't pack it up yet. If you want to make some DX contacts, get out there and give it a try. All right, the Old Tuber Radio Network back for some counting and amounting after this word from our jingle singer sponsors.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
Yeah, I just got to look at the control in the 23F9. It is turned up halfway. Well, so one's got a little more harsh audio than the other. Well, I hope he harshly notices it. Okay, see ya.
No, I think it's good. You make the adjustment with the proximity. If you're using a microphone that wasn't as sensitive, it'd probably be fine. If you've got an amplified microphone, we're going to have to turn it way down. But it's like I said, it sounds good. There was no, I did not hear any flat topping or distortion or things of that nature.
Alrighty. Okay, we'll see ya. I'll be listening.
And doing the counting and amounting, and yeah, I was looking for the jingle singer still there. What I wanted to do is have them do that sort of mellow, the nice mellow jingle that lets everyone know that it is time to turn the radios off. So here we go.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
Yeah, that's the one. Counting and amounting back in a minute. All right, where's the? I'm sort of packed into the air chair, into the control room. Uh-oh, hold on. Yeah, so when something falls. When something crashes off the table, it's just really hard to get to it because I'm in this little den of radios here, and so I have to ungraciously crawl along the floor. I think I got everything now. Yeah, so much for ergonomics. on the radio desk. All right, let me do a little housekeeping here. We'll clear out the radios and any last items of interest for the Old Tube Radio Network. Boy, the band got quiet, and everybody is enjoying it. Like I said, it's a very, very nice day today. Everybody's enjoying the cool breeze coming from the Delta. Thanks, Gary, for sending it our way.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Grabbing my list for the current and final OTR totals. Well, we managed to get all of 3 radios, which is good, and a modicum amount of shortwave listeners listening and tuning in on the list. And again, you don't have to be on any list to jump in and say hello. I guess it's preferable. We're glad you stopped by and let us know what you're doing and what's going on in the radio world. Let me get this. I'm breaking stuff. I always break stuff. SWLs, 18 on page 1, 20 on page 2, 17 on page 3, and 22 on page 4 for a total of 77. And add to the list in that previously unadorned spot on page 3, 77, from beautiful Rhode Island, Red Fox #1. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. So hopefully if you have a radio, you get on the air, whether it's tube or not. Might hear you from... Rhode Island is one of those places in amateur radio when someone is trying to work all states. You know, Vermont and Rhode Island and Wyoming, and depending on where you're at, is a hard thing to get. So I'm glad we're working Rhode Island tonight. 3 radios, the most heard. The Brownings, with 66 and a third percent. Tram Titan was our first radio. Thank you, Cliff, on the beautiful Tram Titan. Yeah, that was Citizen Band radio. It wasn't supposed to be anything fancy. It's just, buy a loaf of bread, Unit 1. But the manufacturers knew it was much more than that. And radios like we checked in tonight with the Brownings and the Tram Titans, they were way more than just a box with a single channel and a squelch control, were the norm. And not cheap either. $200, $300, $400 back then was, the price of a used car. So you had to get that radio bug. You had to want to have that radio sitting on the living room table and fire it up after you watched Jackie Gleason or the Ed Sullivan Show or Bonanza. Or in this case, the Old Tube Radio Network. Dressed like I was watching Bonanza. Radio number 2, the 23 S9 R2700. Harvey checking it out. It's going to be shipped off somewhere. Maybe we'll hear it coming in and skip. Maybe it'll be local. Sounding good. No problems with that. And the Browning R68 T68 Golden Beagle. The archives are up at oldtuberadio.net. I think this video stays up for a while or something. So if you want to give yourself a radio check, and I believe we will be doing this again next week. My schedule looks like I will be out of the air chair for the final episode this month for a radio fundraiser. I will know for sure. But if I do, what I might do is leave the audio up so you can hear what's going on. But probably be out of the air chair coming up at the end of the month. But until then, we will have a good time by all or most on the Old Tube Radio Network. Have a great rest of the weekend. Get on the air and do what it is you do best. If you're studying for or your amateur radio license, or maybe wanting to do the upgrade, keep going. They're having some predictions for Cycle 25 that it may be on its way down, that we may be having a lot of solar issues. So who knows what the bands are like, but it doesn't matter. Get your antennas up in the air and do what you need to do to make some contacts. Good night, everybody, from your Old Tube Radio Network, 73.
Hey, Dennis?
This is the basic Dennis, over.
Okay. I was going to say proxy me in next week, but depending on the situation, maybe everybody gets proxied in.
No, that will not be next week. It'll be the very last net at the end of the month. I've got our annual big fundraiser at the FM, and yours truly will be there doing stuff, and not on the AM. I'll be at the FM and not at the AM. So before we go, who just checked in? Somebody walked in the door up there on the balcony from beautiful Lake Almanor. And Mrs. Calabash is still in the building, so you can say hello radio to Mrs. Calabash. We know where she is right now, so catch her while you can. A great name, Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes says it likes what we're doing, just tuned in. Just stopped by to see what condition our condition was in. The Old Tube Radio Network, think of it as, the car shows at the corner hamburger stand where they show off the fins and chrome of the 1950s and 60s cars. Here we are showing off the fins and chrome of the 1960s and 70s tube radios and giving people a chance to key up. And also creating the sound and the demeanor for those who remember back in the day of what the radio sounded like, and maybe perhaps how people dressed when they were firing up the radio. So that's the Old Tube Radio Network, and believe it or not, we have been doing this since about 1986. I kid you not. So all hail to our shortwave listeners and tube radio operators that keep us on the air. And since we've added some, digital 21st century trickery with the videos and the audios, but the true to form, fire up your channel 11 crystal and take a transmission. That is why we are here. So catch you all. 78. Let me make it official. Wild Wildemar jumping in and saying, don't shut it off yet. All right, did I make you official? Let me get the X and the square. There we go. And that gives us 78 shortwave listeners coming in tonight. Thank you, Richard. Diddy Bopper from Connecticut. Thank you. And we will say 72 plus 1, the Old Tube Radio Network, as W2ONV used to say, over. Good night, everybody.
Good show, Dennis. Good night.
Was someone putting on a show?
No, someone was showing off.
Yeah, it's one of those nets. All right, good night to everybody. I'd go cruise 10 meters, but the band is not open. I don't even think we'll hear any FT8 up there.
Good night.
That's my need. We need a little tube. Like the bee, we need a little tube that sweeps up and shuts the curtain. Good night, everybody. A Worthington Ford commercial. Go see Cal. Go see Cal. Go see Cal. Well, we don't have a dog Spot. We got a cat named Pink. You know what I'm going to do? Just because I can.
About noise, Brian?
Let's go to 40 meters.
You also wanted me to measure my noise floor or something like
Let's
that.
go to 40 meters before we stop into the...
Just with no antenna connected.
One of the West Coast ESSB frequencies. It's sounding good. We got some good local conditions on 40 meters tonight.
I'll hook it up and do a remote session and show you. Okay. Yeah, that works. On my tests, the 8,000 noise floor is around minus 140, maybe minus 141 dBm actually, and the 7,000 is like minus 148, and you can't account for that.
I don't have quite the right antenna up there, but West Coast guys on 7199.
Actually happening there.
Kind of upward.
Oh, 8, yeah, 40's in 40 meters in good shape tonight, so maybe if I get back in the air chair tonight.
Hello, CQ calling CQ.
We'll try it. There is
CQ calling CQ 40. Hello, 40.
some voodoo audio.
Anywhere. Here is kilowatt number 6, Fox Echo Juliet.
7233.
EJ, located at Lake Almanor, California, calling CQ 40.
the Voodoo station up there in Lake Almanor. So the band is in good shape, 7233. All right, good night, everybody. A little piece of wire does wonders with 5 watts or more. Good night from the Old Tube Radio Network.
Lake Elsinore, hello from Lake Almanor. What's the call sign and how you doing?
26 I don't know the snowfall is 59
Kilowatt 6, Juliet, Mike. I cannot tell you how many times people think I'm at Elsinore. A lot of folks have not heard of Almanor, but they have heard of Elsinore, and I have to kind of let them know that I am 600 miles to the north, over.
Absolutely. I hear people say Lake Almanor, and I think they're calling Lake Elsinore. So we have a conundrum here, over.
Yep, and I'm not at Amador. I'm actually, I'm at Lake Almanor, just like an owl went to the bathroom. Almanor. And that's up here in Plumas County. Anyway, good signal. What's the first name?
Rick, Romeo India Charlie Kilo, and all guys on the move from C-Nation.
No problem, Rick. So what radio are you bringing to the frequency here this evening?
Just the old, reliable ICOM.
And that station right there is SWL 78. And I'm not even on the right antenna.
Right, sounds like you got a good loop set up there. And I think I have the call sign incorrect. Is it Kilowatt 6, Juliet, Mike?
Very close, very close. It's Kilo Alpha 6.
Okay, Kilo Alpha 6. Just making money. Boy, that comes up as Richard. Are you Richard?
Correct.
All right, Richard. Good to meet you here on 40 meters. And yeah, big signal. So that loop is doing a good job. The 7300 always sounds excellent. Yours is no exception. And putting in a nice signal here. I'm bringing a Kenwood 950 SDX. This one has been Voodoo modified. It's a Voodoo Labs number 26 and about 900 watts into a 40-meter doublet that is up 100 feet. Over.
Hey, excellent. You are now 30 over and 9. Fabulous signal down here. It's doing you good service there, and I would actually thank you.
Good deal, Rick. So I think we might have run across once or twice. I kind of recognize your QRZ photo. You have, one of those pictures that are kind of like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's kind of why I leave it there. I've got another one, but this one I've left there. That is an HF RDF. Scope on the left, which gives you the pattern, the cat eye pattern, along with the bearings, and on the right-hand side is the receiver. 0 roughly to 20 megahertz, let's say. It's got a built-in goniometer, and it uses this cross loop with a sensor. And the cross loops are about 200 centimeters across.
Wow, fun piece of vintage gear. I'm pretty sure it's vintage. Sorry if it's new and I'm calling it vintage, but I'm pretty sure it's vintage. Anyway, nice piece of equipment and definitely a good QRZ picture. And thanks again for the 30 over F9 signal report. You are a 5